So more and more frequently lately, um, a lot of my crown head brothers have been emailing me and messaging me. And I'm starting to see like this uptick or this huge movement of brothers expressing the fact that they are actually, again, going overseas. They're getting their passports. They're not, quote unquote, wasting their time with Black American women, right? And so over the last few days, I've noticed a major increase in volume as far as brothers expressing this to me, as far as them going elsewhere to find love or relationships, women. And once again, like I expressed in my previous dope discussion, I cannot really be that upset. I'm finding myself having to just be quiet, even as an American Black woman, and you know, eat it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to come on here today and discuss something in particular that I feel is not really being addressed. And to me, it's a huge elephant in the room. But first, I want you guys to go ahead and like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And I'm going to pull up actually this email, this most recent email that I got. Now, I did my best to crop his name out. Thank you so much, Confessions and Therapy. And shout out to you, TR. I'm sorry, that was Terrence. Terrence Barnes for your donation as well. I'll pull those up in a second. But let me go ahead and share this email. And you guys can kind of read along with me, okay? It says, "Hi, Danica. I've been watching content creators' videos on how they have and are experiencing great success with how they're being treated by women overseas. I have to say that so far this year, I have been using my passport, going to Mexico and Brazil, and I couldn't believe the more than welcoming treatment by women in these countries. Brazil, OMG, they were not rude, didn't play any games at all. I was never treated like that by a Black woman here in the US. Okay. I didn't even have to work hard to talk to them. I have told my nephews who are in their 20s and 30s to get their passport immediately. I told them that they are better off getting a woman overseas. As far as I'm concerned, I do still would date a sister. That didn't make too much grammatical sense, but we get what he's trying to say. Okay, I do. I think he went to say I still would date a sister, but she is the last choice for me. This woman that I'm talking to here is from the Philippines, and I am not letting her go, especially not for a sister. She came to church with me one time, and I couldn't believe the dirty ass looks that I got from sisters in the church. But I didn't give a damn because these sisters are stuck up and never, I mean, never, not once did they try to talk to me. Even if I was to see them out and about, they still would not say hi or speak. My cousin, who I attend the same church with, told me that they, the sisters, were talking bad about me, and I was like, fuck them. My cousin had to tell a few of them that he's been here all this time. Why didn't you try to talk to him? If you didn't try to talk to him, then shut up. After dating and hanging out with women of other nationalities, Danica, I ain't looking back at my fellow Black sisters. I am fucking done. Okay, and that's a zoom in moment right there. Tired of the BS, the games, and being treated like dirt. Once again, done. I like the rest of the content creator. Okay, he says, I like the rest of the content creators. Do encourage my fellow brothers to get a passport ASAP. Thank you, Danica, for your continued support for us Black men. Okay. So that was the most recent email that I got. Thank you, Dr. Payne. I'll read all of that in a second. And what made me want to go ahead and address this, because again, this is something that's not, it's not new, right? You got a lot of brothers saying, you know, we the passport brothers and we going overseas and we leaving y'all behind and all of this. So this is not anything that's new. However, with me getting such a major increase in brothers expressing this, I thought it would be very important for me to touch base on it, not just because of that reason though, but also because, like the brother said in the email, a lot of these sisters don't give a fuck about black men until they see somebody else with them. And that's what really bothers me, and what I really want to hit home in this dope discussion is the
All
fact
right,
that
beautiful people. Let's go ahead and lock in. First things first, I have got to give a shout out to Danica Marie Dope Discussions, the YouTube channel. This young lady did a live stream a while back that was brought to my attention by one of the brothers who subscribed to the channel and left a comment on one of my previous videos. He told me to check it out. Salute to you, my brother. Um, and he said I would not be disappointed. And although I didn't get a chance to go through it thoroughly, we're talking about an 2 hour live show. I didn't get a chance to go through it thoroughly. I focused on some key points that I actually wanted to take away from that particular discussion because again it is an open discussion. And like I said, the clip that you saw before was purely focused on the email that she received from a brother who basically has opted to travel abroad and utilize his passport because of what he has been hearing. Said he went to Mexico, also to Brazil, and I believe he said he's dating a young lady in the Philippines. Boo boo. And he said he don't plan on giving her up for nothing. I think another part of that email that she read, because it was very long email, she was like, basically, this brother brung a young lady to church, and all the women, unfortunately, uh, Black American women, were not happy that he did. And apparently, his nephew had said he been around here all this time, right? He been around here the whole fucking time, and only now do you choose to pay attention to him, right? Y'all didn't care about us when we were here, but yet and still, we go out and we date outside the race or date outside the country. For that fact, all of a sudden, people want to start paying some attention to you. Yeah, that type of energy, right? But what I appreciated overall about Danica Marie's discussion is she was honest, right? She wasn't in full defense mode like you'll find with a lot of Black American women. She wasn't in full defense mode. She was kind of like, using my favorite word, somewhat taking accountability, not necessarily for everybody, but she was able to see it from a Black man's perspective, and she was able to have a understanding as to why we are choosing to take our talents abroad or date abroad, have relationships abroad. And she said, and I quote, it's like these women don't care that this is happening. It's like they don't give a fuck. I mean, they truly don't. You can see it. I mean, I don't think that they care, and I don't think they're going to change, right? So it's not as if there's an expectation that brothers believe that, us dating outside the country and stuff is supposed to change the attitude of the women here in the United States or in the Western world. I don't think we think that. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't think we care anymore. And the brother did mention, though, he did say that he has not completely given up on Black women or dating African American, Black American women. But what he did say was they're gonna be at the bottom of my list. It's not funny, but bruh, you know what's funny as hell. And I get it though. I know exactly where that energy is coming from because I myself, I tell people time and time again, just because my wife is Asian, just because she's Filipina, doesn't mean that I would not date anybody that's not Filipina. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't date my own either. It just means that I'll probably, if I had to put them on a list, they would probably fall at the bottom of my list too, unfortunately. And I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. And it's pretty much what Passport Brothers have been saying for a long time. And once people really start to pay attention to the movement, guess what? This is a very, I'm not going to call it dangerous, but this is a very interesting move. So much to the point everybody has something to say about it now. Like I said, we got some of the brothers out here spearheading the movement. There's a lot of them that are the Passport Bros, Passport Kings. A lot of them, sharing in the narrative that has been around for a long time. Trust me, there's a lot of guys that have been traveling forever, but only at this moment in time has it become a full-fledged movement, and it's more than just a couple. We are in abundance, y'all. Brothers are leaving the United States in abundance. If we're not leaving the United States, we are dating outside of the United States in abundance. And I do believe that has a lot of people nervous, because if they were not nervous, they would not be commenting on what we do. If they were not nervous, they would not comment on the things that we do. They would not comment on the women that we date. They would not comment on what we choose to do with our resources and things like that. But because we're taking our resources outside of the United States, because we're dealing with women that are not them, now all of a sudden it's a problem. But like my man said, where were y'all when we were here? Right? Because y'all had the choice before we chose to go abroad. Well, the majority of y'all. Like I said, my first experience abroad was Okinawa, Japan, and I was like 10. I was turned down at 10. Big facts. But for a lot of brothers, that's where we started, right? This is where we started. United States, dealing with women from our own backgrounds, dealing with women from our own communities, going to school day in, day out, coming up, the environment, etc. This is all we knew for a period of time. But now we're in an era where YouTube is popping, Instagram's popping, TikTok and social media is popping, and brothers are not afraid to share in their thoughts and their perspectives about traveling abroad. And because we're not afraid to share it, and because we are, how can I say this? Because we are pretty much, not necessarily the majority, but there's a lot of us speaking up and out about it, people start to pay attention. And it's almost like we could care less whether they care or not at this point, because it's very little that many of them can do to bring us back. And like I said, Danica Marie, I appreciate her perspective. Again, I didn't get a chance to catch all of it, but I do believe that her perspective and her particular approach was based on the fact of taking some, not necessarily responsibility or accountability, but basically being open-minded to the reasons why guys are opting to date outside of the United States, date outside of Western women. And, if you want to be more specific, African-American black men choosing to date women that are not from our own particular backgrounds, right? But it doesn't mean that I don't love my people. Don't ever get it twisted. I love my people. I always have and I always will. That's 100. But it's just, dating has become too complicated for the majority of us. So guess what? It's just in our best interest to just go ahead and chuck the deuces and salute, man. And like I said, when I salute now, I salute to all my passport brethren. Every time I throw up a salute, y'all, I'm saluting my passport brethren. Of course, salute my my military family as well. I come from a very long line of military affiliated folk. And shout out to all my vets and whatnot and my retirees. But outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the move. This is the play. And we making that play. And it's very scary for everybody else. But guess who's winning? Any brother with a passport who utilizes that to the best of their ability is winning. Why? Because the beautiful thing about it, and I say this all the time, I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. Even if it doesn't work out, even if you took your passport, you went somewhere, lived your best life, and it didn't work out, guess what? You can always go back. Whether you like it or not, it's always an option, you feel me? So for me, it's like you can't lose. Even if you took your opportunity or took your talents abroad, just going to Brazil, Colombia, if you want to go to the Philippines, like where I rock, and, Thailand and places like Southeast Asia, if you want to rock out over there, right? Okay, go ahead and check it out. You're not committing yourself to anything. You're just trying to see the experiences that people like me have been talking about for the last, at least since I've been on 5 years plus on YouTube to date. Prior to what my content is now, my content was purely about my experiences living abroad in the Philippines as a basically like an expat child. I went to school there to study abroad. My dad was ex-military. Well, he was retired. So My experiences were sharing the tips and tricks about what you can do to survive there, have a good time there, etc. But now my movement and everything that I go for is all about in support of my passport brethren and the guys who are looking to take their passports and go abroad. That's pretty much where we stand today. And that's the movement that I ride and die by. Like I said, I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with where I am in my life. And there is very few things that anybody can do to stop me from traveling. There is nothing that anybody can say to me to stop me from traveling. And there's very few you can say to any of us brothers to stop us from continuing to live our best lives abroad. Ladies, unfortunately, that's the move now. That's the play. All right, but I appreciate y'all locking in, man. I appreciate you rocking with the good doc, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Time for me to go and get to getting. Again, if you don't like this video, if you did like this video, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to support the channel in any capacity, Doc would highly appreciate that one. Y'all already know what to do. Thank you button in the corner if you want to throw a couple dollars on the books. Of course, Cash App, PayPal. Links in the description area below. I love y'all. Just make sure you drop that like, because that's always mandatory. Doc's on to the next one, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.